Okay, so here's how I do it. First, you select this little band-aid over here. It's called the healing brush tool. Not the spot healing brush tool, but the healing brush tool. So, well, we're gonna have to zoom in more. I get pretty close, actually. So you select this. Now, when you have it, you want it to be slightly bigger than the spot that you're fixing. So this looks like a nice area over here that's not really affected. So you want to hold down Alt and then click. And so that's selecting it. So it's kind of like the clone tool. So you're just gonna go over, and the nice thing about this is it keeps the texture. It's not actually cloning, it's more like cloning but also mixing it with what you're clicking, so it's more natural looking. So basically I went around and did this to get rid of the major red spots. Now when you get to a different part of the skin, see how the lighting is different on his nose, so I have to select something on his nose, and then over here I'm going to zoom in closer to this scar. I'm going to select right alongside of it, so then you can go around and get rid of all the differences in color. And my son just dumped the chips out, so that's great. But anyway, I'm going to select and do this, go over and do that. Sorry about that. So anyway, just get rid of the major spots. Trying to get rid of most of and at least it takes a lot of the redness away, but you can still see like the texture of his skin and stuff like that. This is a pretty bad case, so you don't want to make him too perfect because everyone, sees him the way he is in this picture. So that's why I just try to like make it a little better but not too perfect, because you don't want to be fake looking. Here. And my son is crying. Stop. So I'm going to select right there so I can cover up that spot. And good over here. And get rid of this blackhead. Moving up to the forehead. Now you don't have to use this like as a spot tool, like you can go like that, but see how like right up here it got part of his hair and stuff, so I usually try to avoid holding it down because it usually doesn't turn out the way I want it to. Plus if you go click by click, then you can easily undo things rather than doing something all together and then having to undo the whole thing and start all over again. So let's see how that looks as a whole. I'm gonna fix this area. It's kind of hard because it's like right in between his eyebrow and his hair. So we want to make it small. I think that's really as good as it's going to get. I might be able to do this. There. At least you can't really see it as much. So there, that looks a lot better. This is the before and the after. So actually I'm going to take that one little spot. Oops, wrong tool. There, that's better. This one. Now we see more after. So okay. So then I have these actions from that DTP place. I got it because I did a tutorial online by them, like a class thing. So I got it for free, but it has like baby soft skin, so I'm gonna use that. You want to use it on a low opacity. I don't know if you want to get this because it is pretty good to have. You can get up. Okay. He was on a timeout. So you want to change the opacity to about 23, 24, that's fine. And then I always make the brush about the size of the bridge of their nose. And then you want to make sure that you have the white, so you can click X or you can click the arrow things. So you want it to be white because this mask is black, and so you go kind of just paint it on, down, around, and make it smaller for this, because now even smaller for this area, around the eyebrow, around. So that looks good, but it's also kind of like too much for me, I think. So I always like take it down to like 70, 80, and then I zoom out and I'll click it. You see the before and the after? It's a little different. So I'm gonna flatten the image. And then I noticed that the cropping was a little weird. So if you know the rule of thirds, this is, you want the subject to be at the cross. So I, made it a little bit smaller just because I thought that was more like pleasing to the eye. And then I zoomed in and I used my eye enhancing action, because I think that if he's got pop to his eyes, that it would draw less attention to his face. That's what I'm thinking. So there's that change. And I usually tone it down just a little bit too, and then flatten, and then zoom out. And then it was a little underexposed, so I did bring up the lights, which you might have something different, but I did it like that seems right. And then flatten it. And then I just, after that, I mean, you have a different style than me, but I just put a little finish to it. And I toned it down more because I know that you're not into that as much as me. So then I also took the burn tool and gave it a little bit of depth by burning the edges a little bit. So burn the edge, burn this edge, burn in your image. And this is the final result. And so this is the before, and this is the after. So that's